serve under your chairmanship, and I'd like to congratulate the honourable member for securing this debate. The proposals for a new prison in my constituency of Aberavon have caused consternation for many, many local residents. Their frustrations have been exacerbated by the Minister's reluctance to visit my constituency and to hear directly from the residents their concerns. I warned the Minister back in March that if he did not engage comprehensively with the local community, then speculation would grow. 6 months on, the Minister has failed to engage with the community, and the result has been that speculation is indeed rife. There is guesswork and hearsay. When the government fails to give us the information we need, what else does the government expect? Every piece of information that we have on these proposals has had to be teased out of the Ministry of Justice through letters, questions to the House and written parliamentary questions. Fundamentally, the argument has come down to why the land in the Baglan Industrial Estate was selected by the Ministry of Justice when there's a far more suitable location just 10 minutes down the M4 at Felindra. The Minister has said that the Felindra site came a close second in the evaluation that the Ministry of Justice conducted. And I would strongly urge him and his officials to go back and look again at that site. It meets the Ministry's criteria and ticks boxes that the Baglan site does not tick. There are 3 key components to my argument. First, health and safety. The road infrastructure around the Baglan site is well used, and at peak periods in the morning and at the end of school and at the end of the working day, traffic comes to a standstill with the sheer volume of vehicles on the surrounding roads and the M4. Port Talbot is a well-known pinch point along the M4, and as recently as 2 years ago, Junction 41 underwent a trial closure. Given the proximity of the proposed prison to a large residential area and local schools, the traffic movements at the peak periods creates bottlenecks with no alternative route to alleviate the problem. Should there be a serious incident at the proposed prison, then emergency service vehicles would struggle to attend during those peak periods, potentially putting the lives of prisoners and prisoners' officers at risk. The Felindra site, however, has good access from the M4 with a dedicated junction exit at Junction 46 and its own access road along the B4489. The volume of traffic dissipates by the time you reach Junction 46, making for easier access for emergency vehicles in the event of a serious incident. The Felindra site is also much closer to a full accident and emergency unit, whereas the hospital close to the Baglan site only has a minor injuries unit. Secondly, the economy. The Minister indicated to me that he ruled out the Felindra site because it's been awarded EU funding for business park development. But the Baglan Industrial site is part of the Port Talbot Enterprise Zone, created at the height of the steel crisis to encourage business activity in the area. The steel crisis demonstrated the need for the labour market in Port Talbot to diversify and not be so reliant on the steel industry. The creation of the Enterprise Zone and the enhanced capital allowance that came with it, which the site has, are key components to encourage business to the area that are not reliant on the steel industry. A prison simply does not fit into this objective and would undo the hard work that was carried out to make the area attractive for business. For that reason, the land should be used for the purposes that it was intended and not for the construction of a prison. Conversely, the proposals are having the opposite effect on business in the industrial estate, where a number have expressed to me and publicly that they will leave the area if the prison is given the green light. Thirdly, construction. The Felindra site is more suitable than the Baglan site because of its status as a brownfield site. The Baglan site is a greenfield site and it's marshland. If the government were to push ahead with building on the Baglan site, then they would incur substantial additional costs by having to build on marshland. Other businesses that have built on other parts of the land have had to pile drive a considerable depth to put foundations down, and that is to construct buildings which are considerably lighter than a prison would be. This would have huge consequences for the neighbouring properties and businesses and will have a ballooning effect on the cost. The Felindra site has already been developed and the government would not encounter any of these problems. The site already has developed infrastructure works and land reclamation, plus the good access links that I mentioned previously. The Felindra site offers the Minister the same benefits as the Baglan site, but with the additional benefits that I've mentioned. The fact that the Felindra site is further away from residential areas and schools also means that it does not carry with it the same hurdles that the Baglan site does, certainly in terms of local community consent. I would therefore conclude by urging the Minister to give a guarantee that he will go back to his department and look again at Felindra as a more appropriate site to locate this prison. Thank you.